team, it is Candy Hine here, and today we're going to talk about how to become more approachable. And I'm going to give you some tangible ideas that will sort of give you a starting point that you can kind of grow from and grow into. But first, I just want to say for approachability, that's really, if you break it down, getting people to ask you about your business versus you telling people about your business. And the best way to do that is, of course, being proactive and following up and doing all of those things that we talk about. These are some interesting ideas on how to get people to actually ask you about your product, about being a consenting consultant. Because it's always great when you have the follow-ups and when you're doing those things, but nothing feels better than when somebody walks up to you and say, hey, you're my Scentsy person, or hey, do you sell Scentsy? Or hey, oh my gosh, I've been looking for a Scentsy consultant. There's nothing that feels better. So we're going to talk about some ways to be able to sort of do that when you're out and about. So I'm going to give you some ideas here. I think I have a list of about 12. Again, this is a short video, short and sweet, so it's a starting off point. So number one is room sprays. Something about our business that's really nice is that we have this product that we can give to people and be really sort of gracious about it, giving and generous. It's one of our core values. So find yourself a room spray and somebody to give it to, somewhere to leave it. Find somewhere stinky and make it less stinky, basically. If you get the scent of the month subscription, it comes with a room spray. Make it a goal to get that out every single month to somebody new. And it could be something like you leave it in a bathroom. You can leave it in like a public restroom. You could leave it in your gym locker room. You could leave it at a salon in their area. So think about ways that you could do that. You could gift it to someone. So think about how you could sort of use a room spray. And the nice thing about a room spray too is that you don't need, if you give a wax sample, then you kind of need the warmer. But with a room spray, you don't need that. Plus, did you know there's 620 sprays in one room spray? So that sucker is going to last a long time. Of course, always make sure that everything is labeled before you do anything like this. And it's a tax write-off, by the way, if you're leaving it somewhere for advertising purposes. And if you are like, I don't have a lot of money to spend to be like just leaving stuff around, that's okay. That's what your hostess rewards should be for. You should be having a goal of every month to have your own party so that you have hostess rewards that will help build your stock, help keep you supplied so that you try and use all of our products, and so that you can do stuff like this for free giveaways and whatnot. Okay, number 2 is about your car. So make the inside of your car ridiculously, amazingly scented. Make it smell amazing or make it amazingly scented. Make it just so that when you roll down your windows at a drive-through that they cannot help to say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, what is that? And then that gives you the opportunity to say, it's Scentsy. And then you always want to marry with whatever scent that you have in your car, that's the samples or the scent circles that you have with them. So samples are always great, but those scent circles are only $1.50 each when you get them for half off in your hostess rewards. And there is nothing better than somebody getting something for free, right? They'll probably go home on social media and post about it, that they randomly got something for free today. And so consider that whenever you're buying your next round of products or using your next hostess rewards, is getting a 6-pack of scent circles and in the same scent that you sent your car in, so that you have those ready to go. Let's see. Oh, and again, you want to make sure that, of course, all your product was labeled. Those scent circles, you not only want them to be labeled, but you probably want to have like a product sheet attached to them, just so it has even more information on it. You don't have to do a whole full catalog. Those things are expensive, and I stay stingy with those as well, but I hand those product sheets out like hotcakes. If they want to become a customer and get a full catalog, then they can do that for sure. Okay, next is use your products in public. There's nothing like pulling out your Lucky in Love hand cream in particular and using that in the line. Use it in the line, use it right out after you go to the bathroom. Just pull it out wherever. If you feel like there's, a good somebody that looks like they might be somebody you want to talk to, but you're a little afraid, like it's always a little bit of a game to me to try to get them to ask me about my business first. And so, pull that out, use that cream right in front of them, let them ask you what that amazing smell is, and then you want to have samples available right in your purse that you can hand straight to them. And so, you use that in public. You can also wash your clothes in public. I have been guilty of rewashing clean clothes of my kids that they're going to wear to school or MDO the next day, because I get so many customers saying, I want whatever it is that makes your kids smell so good. Gym clothes are great for that too, because something about our product that whenever you sweat, you actually sweat smelling good. My trainer told me that once, said, you're the only client that I have that actually smells better leaving than when they came in, which is a great testament. So use those washer whiffs. Next is be branded. So, I like, my favorite branding tool is actually my purse. It's in the clearance section of the Scentsy Family Store right now, but it's just it's Scentsy branded, and it feels a little less overt than like the Scentsy on your clothes. And it's probably just me, but for me that feels a little bit like, please ask me. Wearing a hat or wearing a jacket or a purse almost feels like, oh, it's part of my everyday. It's where I work. That's just like what I threw on for the day, which is probably totally me. But anyway, go off on a tangent. Be branded, but when you're branded, make sure you're prepared for one and you make eye contact for two, okay? So if you're prepared, you're so much more likely to be able to welcome in those conversations. If you're not prepared, you're going to like close off yourself and not be looking for those opportunities. And that goes hand in hand with making eye contact. So make eye contact with people, smile at people, look up at people, tell people to have a good day, compliment people. Make it a habit to compliment people, 10 times a day. Make it a habit to go out there and look for ways to make people's day. Look for compliments to just hand out like candy. Okay. Next is leave things on the back of bathroom stall doors. So I have not ever been one that leaves a lot of things, because I am all based on ROI. I want to be able to measure and track all my return on investments and all my data. I'm one of those data people. But this is really great, because this sort of, even if you don't get anything back from it, it sort of, it helps you with that generosity aspect. It helps you be more approachable just by fact that you yourself are a more generous person. You're living those core values that make you more approachable. So even if people don't know you're doing things like that or contact you, doing it in itself makes you a better person that is more approachable. Plus, it's really cool. Like, who goes to the potty at a public restroom and expects to get some free Scentsy in a goodie bag or a scent circle up on the back of the stall door? Nobody. So you're going to make some days doing that, and that should feel good in and itself. Another thing you can do is you can go into nail salons, beauty salons, anything like that, and ask them, like, hey, can I leave my hand soap here instead of this one? Can we trade it out? Like, this is like, I'm giving this to you. Make sure that is branded. You can always see if it's if that conversation goes well, you can ask to put some business cards right next to it. So if somebody loves it, they can just take a business card and order some from you. Another thing that you can do is you can go into businesses and you can give some of your old warmers to a business and say, hey, I'm going to give this business or give this warmer to you. What do we call it? Basically, it's like sponsoring the wax for the month. So it's like, I will give you this warmer in exchange for letting me leave my information in a drawing box next to it, and I will supply you free wax for the month. So every week you go in and change out the wax and pull out any of the names that are in the fishbowl or in the drawing box. This is a perfect place to collect information. So just like when you go to events, the best thing you're going to get out of events is those contact names. But as always, the very best training or strategy or tip that you can get is the one that you're actually going to do something with. So make sure that if you do something like that, that you're actually following up with those people with the that you're getting in the drawing. And I always like to say that like nail salons is just perfect for kind of the demographic that we tend to kind of live in. And so I love something like a nail salon. Okay, let's see. Next is 8. Use your Scentsy pay card. So if you have a Scentsy pay card, then you have money on it. It's really great to be able to use that card to be able to pay. People always ask about that. You don't hand cards to them as much anymore, but you could always accidentally like hand it to them and then they hand it back to you or whatnot. And even if you don't use your Scentsy pay card, you could always put like a Scentsy sticker on your regular credit card. I did that because my 2 credit cards, debit cards, look exactly the same from USAA. The numbers were different. And so I would keep them straight. I put a Scentsy sticker and it worked just as good as doing the pay card idea. Again, this is just ways to get them to ask you about your business versus you bringing it up first. 9 is leave scent circles and samples with a tip at a restaurant. So you want to tip generously. Like you don't want to gyp them on a tip and then also leave them all of your contact information, right? Leave a tip, a generous tip, and then also put a little note on a scent circle that is labeled with a product sheet or with a sample or whatever it is that you decide to do that you have that you can afford to do, and leave that with their tip. Next is leave catalogs with rub and sniff stickers in any of those like catalog racks. Those free catalog racks. Medical offices are great for that. Back of airplane planes, anywhere there's a pocket, if there's a waiting room, those are really great. And if you have any old catalogs from the last season that you need to get rid of, I mean, people love to look through those things no matter what. There's not a whole lot that's really that different. But if you can get those out in those waiting rooms, people love to go through stuff like that. Okay, number 11 is get people to ask about your business. So this is one of my favorite strategies, and I've done entire talks on this, entire corporate trainings on this too. But it's about getting people to ask you about your business again. So it's almost like a game where you get in a conversation with someone and you try to figure out how you can get them to ask you what you do for a living. So, I mean, a really simple way to do that is at a nail salon, you have a neighbor, you make small talk, and then you ask them where they work. And they say wherever, and then they're always going to reciprocate and ask you where you work. And then you get to give whatever your spiel is. And speaking of spills, we like to call that an elevator speech, which is about a 30-second speech that sort of tells them what you do. So you want to be prepared again for what you're going to say. So think about what that elevator speech is. It's I like a lot of times the strategy of instead of saying like I'm a Scentsy consultant, instead of something like that, or I sell Scentsy, or I'm an independent Scentsy Star Director. Nobody cares about what that is. Nobody knows what that means. Like an independent Star Director could be, that I started yesterday. They don't know. So, your title doesn't mean anything. And sometimes Scentsy, depending on who you are, doesn't mean anything to people. Or it conjures up, the other Scentsy people that they've known in their life. So sometimes it's better to say, like, you own a home decor and fragrance business. Oh, really? Like, tell me more about that. Absolutely. It's called Scentsy. Have you heard of it? Oh, yeah, I've heard about Scentsy. Yeah, we have, laundry and this and this. Oh, I didn't know you have laundry. Oh, yeah, we have laundry. Have you not tried it? Oh my gosh, it'll change your life. Let me give you a sample. So simple little things like that just like that progressive storytelling that ends in you giving them a sample without that awkward, fearful, anxiety-filled situation that you've probably conjured up in your head when you're thinking about talking to people in public. So it can be just as simple as that. Another thing to do is really just open up the conversation and break down the barriers instantaneously by giving a genuine compliment. Genuine, authentic compliment. And it can be things about appearance or, their handbag or their shoes, or it can be things like their well-behaved children or their excellent customer service. Whatever those things are, hand those compliments again out like candy. Watch those barriers completely break down, and then from there, just have a really natural progression of a conversation that ends in just you giving them a sample and then getting them connected on Facebook. And if you want more training on that whole aspect and exactly how to do that, like word for word, I have a full training on it. So let me know in the comments if you want any more on that. Okay, and then the last one, we've already talked about it, but I'll mention it one more time. It's just being prepared again. When we're prepared, it opens up our eyes to opportunities that would otherwise be closed without being prepared, and we don't even know it. Okay, it's just like when we saying affirmations and thinking good thoughts can bring those things to you. It's not magic. It's because our minds and our eyes are just open to the opportunities that were there all along. Whereas when we have that closed mindset, then our brain doesn't even see those opportunities. And it's the same thing with being prepared. So always be prepared. If you are not prepared right now with things in your car, with samples in your purse, with new catalogs and product sheets and whatnot, make sure you get those together now. And it doesn't have to be, you probably see pictures on the page of like all of these beautifully branded, put together things. Some of us, me, have been working on their branding and been working on the materials for 5 years. Some of us have been working on it for, 5 months, for a year. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. Just progress over perfection, right? Just get it done. If you have enough for 5 samples, that's okay. Put 5 samples in your purse and make it a goal to get those 5 samples out to people. Okay, so let's get down to the challenge. The challenge is to find a room spray, okay? Hopefully you have one on you. Find you a room spray, leave it somewhere stinky, and tell us about it in the comments, okay? And then that's going to be your only challenge. But for your bonus challenge, okay, if you're feeling especially on top of things, tell us what your 30-second elevator speech might sound like. So if somebody answers any of these things. So if somebody says, oh my gosh, that lotion smells amazing. What is it? Or if somebody says, oh yeah, I work here. Where do you work? What do you say back to them? Because if you don't know what that is, you probably aren't even going to ask because you're going to be scared to death of like what you're going to say, and you're going to stumble all over yourself. Well, I mean, a self Scentsy, like, oh, you don't know what Scentsy is? Like, how do you not know what Scentsy is? Like, I don't know. I mean, we sell wax and a diffuser. We have some diffusers that are awesome. And oh my gosh, let me tell you about, you know what I mean? It's just going to be, it's not going to be professional. So you need to have that 30-second elevator speech prepared. So bonus points for you if you have an idea of what that might be. And maybe it's not like an exact word for word, but maybe it's bullet points. Maybe it's a rough draft of it, but think about that. But your main real homework assignment is going to be to find that room spray, leave it somewhere stinky. If you can take a picture, even better. But tell us about where you left it in the comments. We want to know what stinky places that you sent up to smell good. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and we'll talk soon. Bye.